Well, hello there, my all-in army. It is time to join back together to figure out how we can go all in with Jesus. And I love that I get to do this with you, not coming to you from a place of, Stephanie knows it all and has figured it all out, but out of a place of learning and growing together. So welcome to All In with Stephanie. We're going to, together today, learn about some supernatural outcomes. Now, I don't know about you, but there's some areas of my life where I could use some supernatural outcomes that, if I'm honest, I've been plugging away in my own human strength and just trying to just force my way through things. And the reality is that without the power of the Holy Spirit that Christ has given us access to, we can live below the potential that we have the ability to live in. And Jesus told the disciples in John 16:7, he says this, "Nevertheless, I tell you the truth, it is for your advantage that I go away. For if I do not go away, the helper will not come to you. But if I go, I will send him to you." So Jesus is telling the disciples in John 16 that it's for their benefit that he ascends into heaven. It is for their benefit. After they had walked and lived, they had seen Jesus do miracles. They had lived life with him for multiple years. And now he's telling them, it is for your benefit that I go away. And that he was going to do something amazing for them, which was send them the gift of the Holy Spirit. And my question to us is, and this is a question that I believe God is asking me, am I making full use, or am I realizing the access that I have to the Holy Spirit? Or am I just kind of compartmentalizing the Holy Spirit or just tapping in on occasion instead of really living my life in the fullness and abundance that is available to us because we have access to the Holy Spirit? We get to have supernatural outcomes in our lives because we have access to the Holy Spirit. And so this week we're going to talk about how to stop living with limited strength. How to stop living with limited strength and really access the power of the Holy Spirit. So that's what the blog this week is about, that you can find on my website, stephaniewinslow.com. But also, as we're walking through this podcast this week, we're going to learn today, apply on Wednesday, and then spend time in prayer on Friday. And as we learn, I was asking God, I got to share a message with the beautiful women of the Teen Challenge Center in Davie, Florida at their family day this past Sunday. I got to share with them about the power of the Holy Spirit in this very topic. And I was asking God, give me some visuals, Lord. I was asking the Lord for some visuals of what does it look like when we live without the power of the Holy Spirit. And he reminded me of a couple of different times in my life when my car died. And it was really an inopportune moment, both times that I remember. That one, I was about 16 years old. I was living in St. Louis and heading home from school. It was rush hour time. I was getting ready to get on one of the major highways in the turn lane to get onto the highway, and my car died right in the middle of the intersection. So I have people blowing their horns and honking at me, and I'm just like, I didn't know what to do. And luckily, after what felt like an eternity, but was really only a few minutes, a police officer came to my aid and assistance and helped me, and we got AAA and all the things, and it was fine. But that feeling of living without power, because I can have all the right tools, and sometimes that's what it's like we have all the right head knowledge, we have all the right words maybe to say, but we don't have the power of the Holy Spirit, that we're doing the right things, we're doing, but we aren't accessing the power of the Holy Spirit. So in essence, we're just dead in the water. We don't have the fullness and the abundance of life because we haven't tapped into the power of the Holy Spirit. The second time was in a drive-through lane. Marshall and I were, when we were dating, driving from Ohio, where we were going to school, to St. Louis, back to visit family, and pulled off the highway to get some gas. We had just filled up. And then in the drive-through line at a Wendy's, and there again, my car just died right in the middle of the drive-through. And so here we are, again, like early 20s, late teens, and like trying to figure it out in the middle of nowhere. And ended up hiking a couple of miles to an AutoZone and got a replacement battery and all these things. But again, just this reality of what does life look like without the power of the Holy Spirit? It is, you are basically not going anywhere. You are dead. Spiritually, it's like we need the infusing of the Holy Spirit to really give us the power to move forward in our lives. I can tell you that in my life recently, this is an area I've been struggling, because grief and the loss of my mom, this level of grief has taken me to a place where I've experienced some things in just shifting in dynamics of relationships among my family, between me and my dad, and just having to navigate some new things, new circumstances. Let me just say this, that grief has exposed some areas of my life that I've been living without the true reality of the Holy Spirit in my life. And so here's what it looks like. And this is just the raw and real Stephanie walking through grief. It has led me to some scream crying, like angry scream crying, like not cute, but just being so upset and angry that I have just gotten to this place of scream crying. And I've actually been in a place of withholding love from those closest to me because of fear. I've been living in fear that what if I lose you too? So like it's kept me from really engaging in relationships, like with Marshall, my husband, because I'm fearful of what if I lose you too? I've lost my brother, I've lost my mom, and I don't know if I want to continue investing in deep love relationships because I'm afraid that I'm going to lose you too. So that's the second thing that grief has exposed in my life, and I've lived without the Holy Spirit in that way. I've been playing this relationship intercessor where I feel like I'm stuck in the middle of navigating a relationship between my dad and my daughters, and just trying to like balance all of these relationships, realizing again that that's not my job, number one, but two, like trying to do that without the power of the Holy Spirit just in my own human strength has led me to a place of feeling like tapped out and totally exhausted. The fourth thing is that I've just focused on a lot of mistakes, or the coulda, shoulda, wouldas of relationships that I cannot go back and repair. I cannot go back and fix things that I maybe would have said or done differently, right? But just living in the mistakes or failures of what I saw in my relationships, or things that I wish I would have done differently. But how with the Holy Spirit I can live differently. And also just I'm fearful of forgetting my mom, forgetting my brother. And so I tend to cling on to things or memorialize things that really are meaningless and pointless, but I just cling to those. And so I've been asking the God to show me, okay, so I need some supernatural outcomes in my life. I don't want to live overwhelmed by grief. I need your Holy Spirit. And a friend of mine, Sarah, gave me this book called Don't Miss Out. It's about the Holy Spirit. And the author, Jeannie Cunyon, she gave this very simple equation that I want to share with you. And it's this, that supernatural outcomes, if I'm looking for that, it's our willingness plus the power of the Holy Spirit. So it's my willingness to engage the Holy Spirit plus the power of the Holy Spirit leads me to a path of supernatural outcomes. And what I have seen in my life is that I have so often relied on this idea of like behavior modification, right? Like if I just change my habit, or if I just change this behavior, if I just do this, or if I just do that, it's like it's about me and my own strength. We're relying on behavior modification. And that just, it doesn't work. It doesn't last. It may work for like a week, and I think all of us, if we're real and honest with ourselves, know this. Like if it's, we're going to start a new diet, or we're going to try a new exercise regimen, or whatever it is, like in our own strength, we fail every single time. But with the power of the Holy Spirit working in us, here is what happens, that these scream, crying fits of anger have turned into compassion and gentleness. They have turned to compassion and gentleness. That withholding love has turned to me drawing close in love and relationship. Playing intercessor has turned from me realizing that I am free from responsibility of what the relationship dynamics are like for everyone else in my family, but I'm responsible to show up in love and relationship and let the chips fall where they fall, trusting the Holy Spirit to do His work in all of us. And instead of focusing on mistakes, the Holy Spirit has shifted my perspective to say that I want to celebrate the beautiful memories and live in gratitude for the things that God has done, the relationship that He has done. And instead of being fearful of forgetting, I'm trusting the Holy Spirit to bring back to my memory. And so now I'm saying, okay, I am willing to engage the Holy Spirit. I'm recognizing that on my own and in my own strength, I cannot do this thing. And so the learning for me is that, one, it's just the recognition that I've been trying to live life in my own strength. And I'm tired, right? I'm exhausted. I've been worn out. The living life in my own strength has produced some pretty crazy, like, and out of character results for me. Like the scream, crying fits of anger, like it's not cute. It's not how I want to live. And so I want to live a life of compassion and gentleness. I want to live a life that is honoring and glorifying to God, but I can't do it on my own. I need the help of the Holy Spirit. And so as we look at this verse that from John 16:7 that says, "Nevertheless, I tell you the truth, it is for your advantage that I go away," that Jesus sent us the helper. And the question is, are we going to engage the helper? Or just try to live life on our own, thinking that we can do it on our own, in our own strength, whatever. But I'm telling you that I've tried to do it on my own, and that has not worked. And I'm just so tired. I'm tired. And that's what God is showing me lately is like, are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? And it's time to enter in, accept the help of the Holy Spirit, and embrace what He is wanting to do in me and through me, and engage in this equation of my willingness plus the power of the Holy Spirit, and we get to see and experience some supernatural outcomes. Well, thank you for joining me today on All In with Stephanie. Join with me again here on Wednesday as we dig into the application portion of what it means to walk in supernatural outcomes, that we stop relying and stop living in our limited strength, but really enter into the power of the Holy Spirit. Be blessed, be well, and I'll see you back here on Wednesday. Bye-bye.